Will you only look at me if I die? Evangeline screams from the terrace edge. 2 months ago, I gripped her hand outside our rusted trailer. I shoved my phone into her chest. Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. The info is in your inbox. Tears streamed down my face. If you miss me, wire cash. Evangeline nodded. A solemn vow. She left to become a real deal heiress. Today, my banking app opens to a giant, glaring zero. My stomach growls. I shoulder my cheap bag and storm the city. I locate the Patrick's massive villa. Evangeline teeters on the marble railing 5 stories up. Wind whips her expensive new hair around her hysterical face. She glares down at the couple in the garden. I'm the real daughter. Why do you love that fake more than me? I drop my luggage on the driveway paving stones. I sprint up the stairs 3 at a time. I tackle my sister away from the ledge. My hand clamps hard over her mouth. I force a terrifying, plastic smile at Mr. and Mrs. Patrick below. What Evangeline means is, I gasp for air. Her allowance needs to match the fake daughter's. Penny for penny. I loosen my grip and shoot my bestie a death glare. Major red flag. 2 months of luxury living and suddenly you choose drama over the bag? I dragged my luggage through the winding roads to the Patrick villa. Inside, it was chaos. I paid the taxi fare. My heart bled at the cost. I stood in front of the massive house and saw her. Evangeline stood on the terrace railing, half her body leaning out, teetering. 2 months. That's all it took. She was thinner, frail. Her eyes were red, swollen, breath hitching in her throat. She stared down at her blood relatives. I've been back for 2 months. Have you ever actually looked at me? I am your flesh and blood. Why do you choose the fraud? Tears rolled down her cheeks, thick, heavy. It burned to watch. But her family? Nothing. Mr. Patrick's face twisted in disgust. She doesn't look like a lady. We shouldn't have brought her back. Susan pursed her lips. 18 years in the wild. She only learned trashy habits. Unpresentable. Evangeline's biological brother, Chase, had his arm around Brittany, the fake heiress. He looked up at the trembling figure on the roof. Bored. You've been back 2 months and you're already threatening us? Chase sneered. If you have the guts, jump. Brittany covered her face, trembling like a leaf. Sister, I took your place. Hate me. Please, just hate me. She sobbed. The family swarmed her, comforting the imposter, ignoring the girl on the ledge whose heart had just shattered. Evangeline watched them. Her eyes lost focus. Everything went quiet. Is my death the only way to get your attention? She whispered it. She closed her eyes. She leaned forward. Gravity took over. I lunged. I grabbed her arm and yanked her back. Hard. Smack. I smacked her upside the head. I ripped a crumpled piece of paper from my pocket and shoved it in her face. I took an Uber here. Venmo me before you jump. Evangeline's swollen eyes snapped to the receipt. Instantly, she bristled like a wet cat. The suicide attempt was forgotten. The lack of parental love was irrelevant. She stared at the number on the paper. Sloan, are you out of your mind? She screamed, pointing a trembling finger at me. You spent $330 on an Uber? You could have taken the Greyhound, then transferred to the subway 3 times, then hiked the last 5 miles on foot. We haven't seen each other in 2 months and you're burning through cash like there's no tomorrow? That is reckless. I lowered my head. I tried to look ashamed. It was my first time here. I mumbled. I didn't know the way. And I shrugged. I thought someone here would reimburse me. Evangeline wiped her face. The sticker shock faded, replaced by the original gloom. Sloan, she whispered. I don't have any money. You have been a biological heiress for 2 months. How are you broke? Her face burned red. She looked away, avoiding my gaze. I craned my neck to look over the edge of the terrace. The Patrick family had stopped comforting Brittany. Now, they were just staring up at us. Confused. Chase's voice floated up. Lazy, arrogant, a punchable drawl. I thought you were jumping. He sneered. Why did you stop? You made such a scene. Don't tell me you can't finish the show. Evangeline's eyes filled with tears again. The pain was back. She opened her mouth to defend herself, to beg for their affection one last time. I slammed my hand over her mouth hard. I flashed a bright customer service smile at the audience below. Mr. Patrick, Mrs. Patrick, you heard her wrong. Evangeline isn't saying she wants to die. She's saying she wants fair treatment. She wants her allowance to match the fake daughter's. Penny for penny. I finished shouting and shot my wifey a warning glare. Get a grip. She had lived the good life for a few days and her brain had rotted. She started demanding love instead of cash. Love is a luxury. Girls like us can't afford it. I dragged Evangeline down the stairs. Susan eyed her daughter suspiciously. You've been back this long and you have no money on you? Evangeline nodded. Susan turned to her husband, her voice sharp. The children can withdraw allowance from the trust fund every month. I told you to add Evangeline's name. Did you not do it? Mr. Patrick looked awkward. He shifted his weight. She's only been back 2 months. I forgot. Susan turned to her son. You're her brother. Did you not slip her any cash privately? Chase's face flushed red. I forgot. Besides, she eats our food and lives in our house. What did she need money for? I put my hands on my hips. I cut him off. Prince Chase, you eat the Patrick family's food and live in the Patrick house. Why do you need an allowance? Chase shut his mouth. Silence. He didn't have a comeback. Susan turned her gaze to the fake daughter. Brittany, 2 months ago, you said you would give your room and jewelry to Evangeline. It's been 2 months. Have you not given her a dime? Brittany's heart skipped a beat. She stammered. She stuttered for a long time. She couldn't form a complete sentence. Susan understood. She hadn't asked Evangeline a single question in 2 months either. Guilt washed over Susan's face. She stepped forward and grabbed Evangeline's hand. My sweet daughter. Mom was negligent. I will make up the money I didn't give you. You have been wrong. The sudden concern stunned Evangeline. She wasn't used to it. She pulled her hand away. She wrapped her arm around mine. A lifeline. Sloan, since you're here, stay for a few days. I nodded vigorously. My eyes landed on the utility room on the first floor. Mr. Patrick, Mrs. Patrick, I'm an outsider. I'll just sleep in the storage room. I promise I won't disturb you. I reached out. I swung the door open, excited, and froze. Evangeline's luggage was right there, stacked neatly against the wall. The room was a shoebox, cramped, suffocating. There was barely enough space to put a foot down. Oh, the storage room wasn't for storage. It was the biological daughter's bedroom. A look of embarrassment flashed across the faces of the Patrick family. Susan tried to smooth things over. Well, there aren't any spare rooms in the house right now, so Evangeline will have to make do here for a bit, just until we clear out a room. Her voice trailed off. She couldn't even convince herself. Evangeline had been back for 2 months. The Patrick estate was crawling with maids, and they couldn't clear out a single guest room in 60 days. Please. Luckily, I was used to being poor. I wasn't afraid of a tight squeeze. I dragged my luggage inside and wedged myself into the room. Bam. I shut the door. I locked out the varying expressions of the rich people outside. Evangeline pounced. She came at me with claws out, scratching at me. You saw me today, and the first thing you talked about was the taxi fare. You didn't say you missed me at all. Speak. Do you not love me anymore? Do you have another woman on the side? I curled into a ball on the tiny bed. Evangeline, that was $330. My heart is still physically aching. Back in the day, that money would have fed us for 2 weeks. We really were poor. She was switched by a nanny, dumped in the remote countryside, picked up by a couple who beat her as she grew up. I was born into poverty. My parents wanted to marry me off for a bride price just to save money for my brother's future wife. So when Evangeline was identified as a heiress, I thought we had made it. I thought we were done suffering. Just the crumbs falling from her table would be enough for me to live on. Who knew she would start wanting love instead of money? I glanced at Evangeline. Her energy crashed. She wilted. Am I useless? Even though I'm back in the Patrick house, no one here likes me. I held up my phone. Did you know Chanel just dropped their new collection? Evangeline continued her pity party. I've always known. I'm unlovable. I swiped the screen. Look at this Burberry scarf. Is it cute or what? Evangeline's voice was hollow. Lonely. I just want a family. I just want parents who care. Ding. Her family sent her a transfer. Maybe it was guilt. They sent a lot. I grabbed her phone. I didn't hesitate. I transferred half of it to myself immediately. $1 million landed safely in my account. Evangeline was still drowning in sadness. Sloan, tell me, what do I have to do to compete with the fake daughter? I shoved the phone screen directly into her face. Look at the latest Van Cleef jewelry set. Do you want it? I just want my parents' love. Whoa, that necklace is gorgeous. Buy it. Buy it now. We're going tomorrow. She finally shut up. She stopped talking about that worthless thing called affection.